The following program is presented by the Metropolitan Library Service Agency.
Hello, welcome to All About Kids, a program focusing on the interests of children and young people and some of the issues affecting them. An issue affecting children today is how to get them reading and how to keep them reading. We'll hear from Rose Brown, Media Specialist at Westwood Elementary in Bloomington, and Lois Andersen, Children's Services Librarian at the Oxborough Library in Bloomington. They'll discuss an interesting, exciting collaboration between the public library staff and the school staff on how to keep kids reading. Later, you'll hear from the Bloomington 4th grade All-Stars, 4th grade students from every school in Bloomington talking about the books they like and why.
This 1991-92 school year is the second year of the Bloomington 4th grade All-Star promotion. Rose, could you describe a bit of how we started this?
Well, as you know, we wanted to have something exclusively for our 4th graders to promote them to read and to build the lifelong skill of reading and the love of reading. Mm-hmm. And in the previous years, we used to have Battle of the Books, and not all of our children were involved in that. So we wanted something that would get everyone involved in the program. And that's how we got started. And last year was our first year, this year is our second year, and we're going great guns.
Good. Well, so the main purpose is just to encourage reading and make it fun for kids, is that right?
Absolutely.
Good.
Love of reading.
What kind of participation was achieved last year?
Well, last year it was great. We reached out to about 1,000 students, and about half of them voted. They have to read at least one of the books in order to vote, and so half of them voted, and a fourth of them came to the party at Oxborough Library. And this year, I would say I am encouraged within my own building that I think we're going to have a really nice turnout. We'll probably have about at least reaching out to 1,000 students, including the public schools and the parochial schools in Bloomington.
Oh, that's great. How do the kids get to participate?
They get to participate by reading. And what's happening this year, we're very fortunate because we have a brand new reading program which is literature-based. And we have selected various genre from the 4th grade reading series. And some of our 4th grade teachers are reading the books to the children, and the children they participate by just reading as many of the books as possible.
Well, that's great that we're involving the teachers too. Mm-hmm. Where are the books available? Are they in their classrooms, or where can the kids get the books?
Well, they are in my media center, and I think they're in the media centers in the schools. And of course, you have them at Hennepin County Library. We have 5 copies. They are all paper. Most of them are paperback copies, and I think you have paperback copies also. Mm-hmm. So, are you finding that quite a few of them are being
Most of them
checked
are out much of the time, and we have had a lot of the parents coming in asking for the list of titles, intending to go and buy the whole set for their children, which is really encouraging
that's great,
too.
Great.
So we mentioned a party. What does that constitute? What goes on at the party?
Okay, well, during I Love to Read Month, which is February, and also Bloomington's We Love Kids, our I Love Kids Month, in conjunction with that, we have included the PTSA and the Friends of the Library, and of course parochial schools and public schools and public library. We're all come together to share in this party, which is where we announce who what the winning book is, what the favorite book is. And then also we try to have someone, either an author or someone that is involved with children's books there for the children with treats and so forth. So, and that will be in February sometime after the President's holiday. Probably February 22nd, I think.
Do you think that it kind of empowers the kids to feel that they are choosing a winning title?
Oh, absolutely. I know I felt that last year. They felt that way, and I'm sure it's going to be the same way this year. Yeah.
Good. So what do you see as the pluses of the program?
The big thing is reading, and reading a variety of genre, and just the love of reading, and also the bonding or the connecting of the public library system and the school system, and also the parochial schools, to incorporate all of us in this effort to get kids to really enjoy reading.
Cooperation is kind of the buzzword these days, and this has proved to be a very time and cost-effective program that reaches lots of kids.
Absolutely.
So the library certainly regards it as very successful. Would you recommend a program like this to other school districts?
Well, Lois, I think so. Yes, absolutely. Yes. In fact, I mentioned it in one of my college classes that I'm taking. So, yeah, very definitely.
Maybe they'd like to know how the books were chosen, if you care to divulge our tactics in our meetings.
Well, as I said, this year we selected quite a few of them that are from the 4th grade reading series. And we do try to incorporate a genre and a variety of books. And last year, that was our focus last year, is getting different genres. So that's kind of our focus for selection.
So the child who likes to read only mysteries is exposed to lots of other kinds of books.
Yes.
I know teachers have told me that kids who would never read anything but a mystery now all of a sudden are finding they like science fiction or fantasy or historical or whatever. So you didn't want to describe how we fought over our favorite titles, huh?
No.
Okay, well, we would certainly like to encourage all Bloomington 4th grade kids to participate in this program. They'll find that they're all all-stars, and they'll have a good time in the process. There will be an all-star party coming up that the 4th graders are invited to. That will be held in February at the Oxborough Library, which is 8801 Portland. We hope to have an author there. We hope that the kids will have a good time doing it. And now we'd like you to see some of the children's reactions to the 10 books on this year's list.
Are you bored? Do you have nothing to do? How about going down to your local library to pick out a book? There's all kinds of books. Books about mysteries, adventures, animals, and many more. So instead of watching TV, ask your mom or dad to take you down to your local library and become a 4th grade all-star. We are having a party where we'll announce the winner of our favorite books, meet an author, and have party treats, all at the Oxborough Library Saturday, February 22nd. Start reading today.
My name's Andrea Morehouse, and I'm from Hillcrest Community School. The book I read was Babe the Gallant Pig, written by Dick King Smith. The author, Mr. Smith, lives in England and usually writes about animals. 2 years after Mr. Smith wrote Babe, a farmer in South Wales brought up a pig which learned to go round sheep. The characters in the book are Babe, a determined, persuasive, and friendly pig, Fly, who is an encouraging sheepdog, Mr. Hoggett, who is faithful to Babe, and Babe's best friend, Ma, the sheep. Babe's problems are 1. that Mr. and Mrs. Hoggett plan to eat Babe for Christmas dinner, and 2. that even though Babe's a pig, he wants to do a sheepdog's job. Babe's first problem was solved when he saved the sheep from wolves and sheep rustlers. I'm going to read that part to you now. Ma, he cried breathlessly, it's you. Behind them, one dog laid down in a whistle, and in front the flock checked as the other dogs studied them. In the corner of the field, the tailgate and the wings of the cattle truck filled the gateway, and 2 men waited, sticks and arms outspread. "Oh, hello, young'un," puffed the old sheep. "Fine day to choose to come, I'll say." "What is it? What's happening? Who are these men?" asked Babe. "Rustlers," said Ma. "Them sheep rustlers." "What do you mean?" "Thieves, young'un, that's what I do mean." "Sheep stealers. Well, I'll be in that truck before you can blink your eye." "What can we do?" "Do? Ain't nothing we can do unless we can slip past this here wolf." She made as if to escape, but the dog behind darted in, and she turned back. Again one of the men whistled, and the dog pressed. Gradually held against the headland of the field by the second dog and the men, the flock began to move forward. Already the leaders were nearing the tailgate of the truck. "We beat," said Ma mournfully. "You run for it, young'un." "I will," thought Babe, "but not the way you mean." Little as he was, he suddenly felt not fear, but anger, furious anger, for the boss's sheep were being stolen. "My mom's not here to protect them, so I must," he said to himself bravely, and he ran quickly around the hedge side of the flock, and jumping onto the bottom of the tailgate, turned to face them. "Please," he cried, "I beg you, please don't come any closer. If you would be so kind, dear sensible sheep." Mrs. Hoggett, who had happened to be watching from the window, had seen the whole thing and decided right then and there not to eat Babe. Babe's second problem was solved by believing he could win the sheep herding championship, and he did. The moral of the story is that you can be anything if you put your mind to it. I recommend this book to people who like excitement.
Hi, my name is Arlie Heron, and this is Colleen Coleman. We're from Poplar Bridge. We read the book Anastasia Crumpnick. We thought that it was a good book. To me, this is what you call a shaggy dog story. The reason why it's called a shaggy dog story is because it's got all the mean details and the little details in it. An example of a shaggy dog detail is she hung the Do Not Disturb sign from the Parker House Hotel on the doorknob of her bedroom door. She thought that might make it easier to write her poem. She got a glass of orange juice with ice in it to sip on while she worked. She thought that might make it easier to write her poem.
Anastasia Klupnik has squash-colored hair. She is 10 years old. She has owl-framed glasses. Her dad is a poet. Her mom was expecting a baby. She is the only child. Her mom and dad decided to let Anastasia name the baby. She wrote a poem for school. She got an F. It didn't rhyme or make sense or have any capital letters or periods or exclamation marks or commas. Then when she got home, her father thought it was fabulous, so he turned the F into fabulous. A couple days after, she wanted to be a Catholic because her friend said, if you're a Catholic, you can change your name. She decided not to be a Catholic, though Anastasia adores her wart on her finger.
Anastasia was going to run away, but she made a deal with her parents that if she didn't run away, she would get to name the baby brother. I thought that it was nice of Anastasia to name him after her grandfather Sam. At the end of each chapter, Anastasia wrote a list of things she liked and a list of things she didn't like. I liked the way the lists changed after each chapter. I always looked forward to getting to the end of each chapter to see what had changed. For instance, in the second chapter, throughout the end of the 10th chapter, Anastasia wrote that she hated babies. Then in the 11th chapter, her mom had a baby boy, and Anastasia crossed out everything on her hate list except for liver. I don't blame her. I thought one of the funniest parts was parents both stirred their coffee at the same time and sipped at the same time, as if they'd been rehearsing 1, 2, 3, stir, 1, 2, 3, sip. I was sad when the grandmother died, but then on the same day, Anastasia's mom had a baby boy, and she got to name him Sam.
We liked the 11th chapter the best. Again, we liked this book for many of those reasons and more.
Hi, my name is Lindsay Hartu, and I'm from Valley View Elementary School. I read the book 4B Goes Wild by Jamie Gilson. It's about how Hopi Hansen goes to camp. He's afraid because he's never been away from home before, and he doesn't want anybody to know. But he goes to camp anyway and feels homesick almost the whole time. One funny thing that happens in the story is when Hobie and his friend Nick meet up with a skunk in a graveyard at midnight. You'll have to read the book to find out what happens in the graveyard and if Hobie ever gets over being homesick. It's a great adventure story, and I hope it wins the All-Star Award.
Hi, my name is Tiffany Navratil.
And my name is Shayla Finley. We're from Weston Elementary School in Bloomington.
We have a great book called A Taste of Blackberries that we'd like to tell you about by Doris Buckingham Smith. This book is about a boy named Jamie and his best friend who have a lot of fun together. One of their favorite things to do is to pick blackberries. Jamie's best friend tells the story.
Jamie can get into trouble as fast as he can get out of trouble. He has an answer to every impossible question. This sometimes annoyed Jamie's friends.
One day when Jamie and his friends were scraping Japanese beetles off Mrs. Hauser, their neighbor's grapevines. Mrs. Hauser asked them to do the job for them. Mrs. Hauser was the kind of neighbor who yelled at you even if you stepped 1 inch into her yard. Everyone thought that she was kind of crabby.
While the kids were scraping beetles off the grapevines, Jamie was playing around a bee's hive. A bee came flying out, Jamie got stung once, and he fell to the ground.
Everyone thought Jamie was kidding because of all the teasing and trouble he got into the past.
When Jamie's friend heard the sirens, he knew that there would be no more picking blackberries. We recommend that you read this book so that you can find out what happened to Jamie.
This is a terrific book and teaches a good lesson about friendship and life for kids our age.
My name is Kim Myers. I am from Washburn Elementary School. I have read The Little House in the Big Woods. It is written by Laura Ingalls Wilder. The story took place in Wisconsin. The story is about a little girl and her family. She has 5 people in her family: mother, father, and big sister Mary, and baby sister Carrie, and their dog named Jack. Their house was made of logs. Laura likes to play dolls with her sisters. She only had her sisters to play with her. My favorite chapter is Little House in the Big Woods. The chapter tells about where they lived and what life was all about. They lived very far north. Laura had a lot of chores to do. Every day Laura had to wash on Monday. On Tuesday she had to iron. On Wednesday she had to mend. On Thursday she had to churn the butter. On Friday she had to clean. On Saturday she had to bake. And on Sunday she will rest. Laura was 9 years old. They ate venison, which is meat from deer. Most of the meat had to be salted and smoked and had to be packed away for the winter. They used a hollow log and hickory chips, which they burned to smoke the meat. They also sometimes ate fish, which Pa caught in Lake Pepin, and they also ate bear. Pa also laid traps for other animals, and they also had a garden and grew wheat. Life in the big woods was very hard, but with hard work from everyone, they were very happy.
Hi, my name's Brian Baker, and I'm from Oak Grove Elementary. The story Chocolate Fever by Robert Kimmel Smith is about a boy named Henry Green. He loved chocolate. So much that he would eat it breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snack time. Henry gets a serious disease and has to go to the hospital. He gets fed up with the hospital and runs away. What will happen? Read the book. Find out. And if you love chocolate, you'll love this book.
Hi, I'm Lindsay Ford, and this is Amy Kulak. We're from Ridgeview Elementary School, and we're going to talk about the book, Night of the Twisters. Tornado alert, tornado alert. Just seconds after the announcement, the radio is dead, the lights go out, and the only sound is the unnatural quiet night is horrifying wail of the whirring siren. Dan's been through a dozen tornado watches before, but this is the real thing. A twister is about to hit, alone in the house. His best friend is an infant brother to take shelter in the basement. Huddle in the shower, covered by a blanket. They listen to the sounds of the howling, shrieking tornado. The world seems to come to an end on the top of them. The harrowing story of a day like any other, turned almost without warning. A nightmare abounds with courage and hope. This book is based on a true story of a Nebraska tornado storm.
Selenite was hit with a sickness worse than Arthur's mom. Where was she? Is she smiles? Arthur, I cried, sitting up straight. Mom, my whole family's choked out. Ivory Rookman is the one that wrote this book, who lives now in Salt Lake City, Utah. Grew up in Nebraska, in the settling of the Night of the Twisters, told by her father, head of the cellar during storms, but it was until the years later that she expressions through intently then powers of the tornado when it was in 1980, the home of relatives of the deciding proving and prevents and such of the expansion of the tale of this book.
Encyclopedia Brown Boy Detective by Donald J. Sobel.
Hi, I'm Kelly Nelson, and this is Katie Cazzola. We both go to Normandale Hills Elementary School.
Encyclopedia Brown looks like the usual 10-year-old boy.
Actually, he is a very unusual boy. Encyclopedia uses his eyes, his ears, and his head, which is full of information.
As for Idaville, where he lived, no grown-up boy or girl ever got away with breaking the law there.
That was because Police Brown's most difficult cases were solved by his son at the dinner table.
My favorite case was the case of the bank robber. My favorite part of the story was when Encyclopedia Brown went to the Old Martin Inn. He saw a light on and a daily newspaper on the bed. He heard a tapping in the hallway. What was tapping in the hallway, and why did Encyclopedia push Sally down the stairs? Read the story to find out.
I love the bank robber too, but my favorite case is the case of the diamond necklace. My favorite part is when a woman screams and 2 bullets got shot above the bed, and when Chief Brown hits down the door. Who was the person who stole the diamond necklace and shot the gun? Read the story to find out. Encyclopedia Brown Boy Detective is a wonderful book. We just can't keep our nose out of it.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Hungerford. I am in 4th grade at Indian Mounds Elementary School. I read the book entitled The Comeback Dog from the 1990-91 Bloomington 4th grade All-Stars list of reading titles. Comeback Dog by Jane Rush Thomas is one of the best books I've ever read. The main characters are Daniel, who is about 10 years old, his mother, his father, and the doctor and Lady the dog. This particular book is about a boy that found a dog and tried to keep her from dying. Daniel decided to call her Lady. There are many good parts in the story. One of the interesting parts is when Daniel was in bed one evening and was wishing that there would be a snowstorm so he wouldn't have to go to school the next day. When he awoke the next morning, there had been a blizzard and school had actually been called off. I'd like to read to you another favorite part in this story. This is a rather sad part, but I like it. As the kitchen door slammed behind them, his mother looked up from the dishes she was washing and smiled. "Well, I see you came back. Who's that wearing your parka?" Daniel's father laid the dog gently on the floor. "She's all yours, son." "I'll be in the barn," he said. Daniel pushed back the hood of the parka. "I'll need some rags, Mama. She's sick, but Doc says there's always hope." His mother shook the soap suds off her hands into the sink and reached for the rag bag that hung on a hook in the pantry. "Lord knows we've got plenty of rags. I can hardly tell the difference between the rags and the clothes we're wearing," she sighed. "We'll put her by the wood stove." "I'm afraid she'll stink." "I've smelled worse than wet dog," his mother said. "We can always air the house. Doc said to give her a little broth every 15 minutes. Then I'll put a tough old hen into the stew, and we'll have creamed chicken and peas for supper. She hugged the boy. I'm glad for your kind heart, Daniel. Later on, when Lady gets some of her strength back, she ends up running away. Well, I'm not going to tell you the end of the story. You'll have to read that for yourself. Comeback Dog is available at your public library, local bookstore, and school library. I hope you enjoyed the book as much as I did. Thank you.
My name is Beth Berzelius from Olson Elementary. The Whipping Boy by Sid Fleshman. Illustrated by Peter Fisk. Long ago, in a kingdom far away, lived a prince named Horace, also known as Prince Brat for all the awful and mischievous things he did. But it was forbidden to punish the prince, so a common boy from the streets named Jemmy was used as a prince's whipping boy. Jemmy was whipped daily because the prince refused to learn his lessons. Jemmy did not cry or yell, which made the prince mad. Prince Brat decided to run away and bring Jemmy with him. They ran into the forest and became lost. They were spied on by two murderers named Hold Your Nose Billy, who smelled like garlic, and a tall, skinny man named Cutwater. When the murderers found out that one of them was the prince, they decided to kidnap them and hold them for ransom. While Hold Your Nose Billy delivered the ransom note, Jemmy and Prince Brat escaped into the forest. This is when their adventure began. While dodging the king's soldiers and the two murderers, they met Betsy and her trained bear Petunia, Captain Nibs the Potato Man, and old Johnny Tosher. Will Prince Brat and Jemmy find their way safely? Read this book and find out. You will not like this book. You will love it.
Articulate children describing the books they like. Thank you, Rose Brown, Lois Andersen, and a special thanks to all the Bloomington 4th grade All-Star readers. Thank you for joining us on All About Kids. Please tune in again.